Alright everybody, welcome to another week of our live show. We're starting to come with a catchy title into 2020. So as always, if you have any suggestions, let us know in the comments below. But I am Josh Placer from Game Wisdom. Joining me is my co-host, indie game developer Shark. How are you doing?
I am doing good. Things are progressing. Still haven't got programming on track though, but the late show. I like that one.
Extremely safely late? Safely extreme late?
Safely extreme early late show.
There we go. And speaking of which, we're still trying to discuss about doing merchandising for the show and for the cast. So if anyone has any comments on it, let us know. I'll be making a separate video, probably either today or tomorrow, on the topic. Just late enough show. There we go.
But we're talking about two different designs. One that has the Game Wisdom logo, probably with the text, and like in a gold, yellow color, and then on like a couple different colors of T-shirts, or developing a Safely Extreme logo, which we don't have yet, and putting that on a few different colors of T-shirts, kind of thing.
Yep. So as always, let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll do that separate video very soon. But we are officially into 2020 now, and the game industry is still slowly but surely catching up. We haven't seen anything too big in terms of major announcements, I guess, other than the PlayStation 5 logo that like freaked people out for some reason. I heard like people couldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks just like all their other logos.
Yeah. So, I guess people are very desperate for news these days. And as we're talking, I believe Games Done Quick is either wrapping up or has wrapped up. Of course, I think they raised over $2 million in terms of donations. So definitely good on them for that. We still need to get like a speedrunner on it. Uh-oh, wait, did I? Oh no, I missed it by one. Well, I'll have to edit that in post then. Or I'm so ahead, I'm 1 week ahead there. We'll go by that one. There we go.
We'll just edit your time travel in the post.
But we still need to do a topic about like speedrunning and speedrunning culture. But we still need to get like more speedrunners on, I think, for that one, to kind of talk about their own thoughts, and especially about, we had that discussion about making games speedrunning friendly, I think a few weeks ago. Let's see. And of course, with everyone still in holiday mode, means things are still slow in terms of announcing book number 3, as well as more of the library talks. Right now, I'm now talking to Massachusetts. That's the next state that I'm in, and then going to probably go to Texas, because that's another really big game dev scene. So we'll see what people say as I just start making random cold calls to libraries.
I did not know that Texas was a big one.
Well, Austin, where it is, or where they have what is it? Their Quake Fest. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I think so.
I still like the best library one. Like, there's two of my favorite stories so far. Maybe if I ever do like a comedy routine about, I'll have to include these. One was that one that asked me, is gaming about hunting? Or the one that was about, do you do anything about how video games are causing bullying to improve? Like, no. But the best one was when I contacted the library in New York, and they said, I don't know if you saw the news, but we had a little incident that involved the police. So now we're having trouble getting kids back to our library. I'm like, wait, what just happened at this library? Or the one that wanted me to travel like 5.5 hours. Either that it's supposed to, video games are affecting bullying, I guess. That's what they wanted to say. Video games cause bullying. Well, you guys bully me every night, so I guess that must be true.
It's not bullying, it's tough love.
There we go. Let me put that to the parents. I bet they'll appreciate that one.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to get book 3 locked in, and I really still debating whether or not to do horror or roguelike as the next book, because I think for this month, for the live kind of presentation I want to do is talk about roguelike light and any other rogue definition as the presentation.
For you, I think I would go with roguelike and roguelikes and all the other rogues, because I know how you're obsessed with the rogue genre as a total.
And for the entire presentation, you can be there just asking, what is a rogue? You can just say that for the entire hour long.
What is a rogue?
There we go. You could just you could record yourself and just like put that on repeating for the entire presentation.
I'll do that. I'll get the recording. We won't even edit it in post. We'll just put a soundboard and just press a button. And
there we go. Perfect.
What is a rogue?
Mm-hmm. But we have some random topics to discuss, and then we'll get into kind of our overall theme for this week. We'll be talking about kind of YouTube and YouTubers' impact on the game industry, as there really isn't too much else to discuss, at least right now. So, in terms of news of the week, though, Shark had something that he brought up, so I'll let you take it from here.
All right. See if I can find the original topic. So this was an article posted by somebody I know, Mello, who runs the Sentinels of the Store Steam group. And basically he's researched over time the amount of games that have been put onto the Steam storefront. And if you look through like 2004, only 54 games, and you see like in 2005 50 games, so it actually decreased, and then 2006 it shot up by 158% to 129 games total. But like you can see like the steady growth kind of thing besides that 1 year all the way up until 2014, which if I remember right, that was Greenlight when that launched, wasn't it?
2014. Could be around there. Let's see.
But in 2013, it was 561 games, and then 2014, it jumped up to 1,359 games.
Yep. Actually, doing a quick lookup, it launched according to Steam August 30th, 2012 was Greenlight.
So right at the end, towards the end of 2012.
Yeah.
Which makes that increase even bigger kind of thing. But, then we are gaining, like, we went from 1,300 to roughly 2,500, then 4,400, 2017, 6,300, 2018, 8,200, and then 2019, something happened because we only did 8,400. So we only did less than 200 more games launched in 2019 than in 2018.
Yeah, we've been talking about like the number of games being released, and I don't think we're ever going to have a year where it'll be like a sharp downward trend of games being released.
I don't know. I think we could get that. It wouldn't be like super sharp or anything, but I think we could get something like that because, Mello here is saying that part of it is probably because Valve has been banning some bad actors, asset flippers and whatnot from their store. There's still a lot more to go, but they've apparently taken care of some of them, which I was unaware of. But I think one thing we're going to see is a lot of indies are no longer able to make money on the platform kind of thing. And I think and some of them are going to be making significantly less and unable to fund their studio going forward. So I think we will see a downtrend at some point, but I don't know how sharp that will be. But it's market equalization. You know, we have supply and demand. When, you know, supply is too high and demand is too low, then obviously some of the suppliers have to go broke. And if they go broke, then they're probably not going to be posting any games anymore.
And the thing about the game industry that makes a difference, and when we talk about supply in this case, we are talking about unique products. Again, every game is its own unique selling point. But the problem, of course, is that there's only so much money and so many hours in a day for somebody to experience a game. And
so many consumers.
Yep. And if I've already spent, you know, $50, $200 a month on video games buying 5 or 6 games, why should I spend more money on your game when I still have to play those other titles? And then it just keeps adding and adding up. I mean, right now we are recording this in middle of January, despite me putting in the wrong date for our stream. But we're having that very, very brief lull. But even with that said, we just got Monster Hunter World Iceborne on the PC this past week. That's a good 50 to 100 hours of gameplay, you know, and we're not even going to talk about the other games that are coming out. And of course, when we get to our Weird Games segment later on, we'll see what, at least the smaller scale, has coming in the following days.
Yeah, and it's the problem is that basically, like you said, is we have so many games to play that we don't have enough time to play them. I mean, I think most people watching this will have a Steam backlog of games that they have not played yet. They bought them and they haven't played yet. I mean, there might be some that don't have that, but I think a lot of people will have games
who are those strangers right now who have games that they haven't played, who don't have games they haven't played yet? What's that all about? I don't understand that at all.
I don't either. I know one of them, but I don't get it.
Yeah, and as of right now, I am... Oh, good, I officially broke 2,000 games. I'm up to 2082, thanks to the last month of sales. Yeah, and... Oh yeah, by the way, I still haven't played Shadows of War that I bought while it was on sale, or Mortal Kombat 11. So yeah, I'm really keeping up with things, aren't I?
Yeah, I think out of like my 300-ish games on Steam, I think I haven't played probably about 50. There's probably 50 of them that I barely played and want to go back and play more, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would love. Like, does anyone know there's a way to track or to sort on Steam by, you know, most hours played to least hours played? Is there a feature? I know
there's a way to sort based on have you ever booted it yet.
Oh, please tell me how to do that, because I would like to know what games I've been missing.
Let's see here.
Oh my goodness. The grab bag just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Scroll to the top. Sort by recent.
Okay.
Yep.
If you click the sort button, there's a play state where it says ready to play, locally installed, played, and then unplayed, and you just click unplayed, and then this is all the games you've never played.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so according to Steam, I have 405 games on my Steam list that I have not played yet. Yeah, there's nothing wrong there.
Yeah, I have no idea how many's on my list, but it's a long list.
There we go. And again, just like with the Steam list or with the wish list, I'll take one game off to buy 5 more, and then it'll be like I did nothing.
Yeah. And then you just you go and buy, 5 or 6 games on Steam and take your wish list from 48 and down, and then you come back to me 10 minutes later after you bought like 5 or 6 games, going in with 48 wish list. Come back, you now own 5 more games, but your wish list is now 54.
Yeah, it was 58 before the month of December. Now it's at 71.
And you own how many more games now? Like 20 or 30 more games?
Mm-hmm.
It only went up by... the wish list went up by 20 or so, even despite you taking about 20 or so off of it.
Oh, jeez.
But there's just way too many games, and not enough time to play them. Another issue is that, while gaming is becoming a huge kind of market, I guess you would call it, or field, it still pales in comparison to like the real big dogs, like movies and stuff like that, TV shows, because there's pretty much nobody on the face of this planet that hasn't watched movies, kind of thing. There are tons of people who have not played games, and even if you and then you can narrow down that farther by not casual games, kind of thing, and then you can narrow it even farther and farther. So like gaming is such a small percentage compared to it, which makes it a lot harder to make money at it. At the same time, is you can watch a movie and digest it basically in 1 to 3 hours, depending on the movie. Games, you're probably going to spend a good 10, 20, 30 hours, 40 hours playing it to get all the way through. So, I mean, we not only have a smaller percentage of people, but we have a lot more quantity of each experience. And then the fact is movies, there's only 20 that maybe come out in a month, where there's how many hundreds or thousands of games come out in a month. It's just,
I mean,
very, very lopsided kind of thing compared to them.
I mean, of course, there are indie films. I mean, one of my family members he's actually in a starring role in like an indie horror film around here. I have not seen it yet. I don't really want to watch it. So, I mean, there are people making smaller films and stuff like that. And I think one kind of relation to the game industry is that today you can have those smaller films having a place out there. At least, they can post it on YouTube or any other streaming platform. But it's still very much a case of, the major theatrical releases getting top billing. I mean, let's face it, whenever Marvel, any of the Marvel movies this past decade, when they come out, basically, that whole month is canceled for anybody else. The same for Star Wars, regardless of whether you liked or disliked the new trilogy, it still brought in a lot of eyes on there compared to everything else. I think... So
what you're saying is we need like a Steam for indie movies.
Yeah.
And then let it get flooded, and then they get into an apocalyptic situation.
Pretty much. And with like the whole movie side of things, I think another big point, as you said, like movies are a lot easier to digest compared to a video game. A movie's an hour and a half to maybe 2.5 to 3 hours on the longer end, compared to at least stuff like Lord of the Rings. A video game's a good, easily 5 to 10 hours plus, let alone the really good ones that are probably 20 to 40 hours. And that's on top of everything else that you're trying to do.
Yeah, people will complain if a game's only 2 hours long. People will complain really hard and refund it really hard.
Yeah. Where's Mojo after saying that too?
Yeah, I should have summoned him.
But I think with, like, again, so many games being released, as you said earlier, like, people have been saying for a while now that maybe one year there'll be a huge, cut in terms of games. So according to the people you were talking about tracking, there wasn't that big. But again, though, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen this year, even next year, with the fact that we're hopefully, rumors abound, getting a brand new console generation with, PS5, Xbox, and whatever Nintendo has in store.
Yeah, and with the new consoles, you should probably see a wave of higher technology in a lot of games, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't exactly expect that from the indie side
That's
of things.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've definitely have seen, we've said this many times over, how much the bar of quality has gone up from the independent space this past decade. The fact that, Unreal, Unity, there's probably a few other engines I'm forgetting off the top of my head, have allowed indie devs to really push things from an aesthetics point of view. I mean, we saw that with Grease, Ori and the Blind Forest. Trying to think of some other really like standout graphical indie games. Any come to your mind?
Not particularly, but the thing is it's I don't think it's so much the engines. I think it's more like just that the artists they hired or were part of the team were they had a really good aesthetic already, and they were just really went after it and went to make their game aesthetically pleasing from the beginning.
Yep.
Because Ori and the Blind Forest is not like a intensive game on its own. Like the graphics are amazing and everything, but the gameplay and everything, it's pretty similar to your normal platformer kind of thing, with a few twists kind of thing, like with being able to shoot yourself. I mean, it has like a kind of like a simulated graphics, simulated gravity kind of thing, or more simulated than your normal platformer. But like, it's not really much different. So like, it wasn't really an engine change they needed. It was more like the artist. But the thing is they were probably ahead of the ball and knew that, because I mean things were already getting hard back then to get noticed, and they probably seen that coming and just went for broke right there. Or it might have been dumb luck kind of thing. They didn't know that it needed to be graphically appealing, and they just wanted to do it, or that's just the style their artist had, or whatever. I don't know, but we can only hypothesize. But yeah.
But as we've said, so much of the independent space has grown this past decade that, and we've talked about this before, how hard it is for smaller games to stand out. As you said a few minutes ago, if a game is under 2 hours to finish, most people are going to refund that game. And you can't really get by anymore in terms of just making a simple title. I mean, when we do, like every week when we do our Weird Games segment, there's at least one game that just looks like a ripoff of a classic game. This is the Pac-Man game. This is the Breakout one. There have been a few Snake clones as well. And that stuff is just not going to work at all. You're not going to... I don't think you can make any money these days just saying, I'm going to make Pac-Man again.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely would not recommend making a game like that to sell. That kind of game would be good for a first kind of game that you're not going to sell.
Yeah.
Like, I would suggest, like, Breakout, any kind of Atari game or any kind of really basic game for your first game but do not sell it because it won't sell. You'll just be wasting your money.
Yeah.
But it's great to learn with by making something like that.
Yeah. But that hasn't, unfortunately, stopped so many people from taking that game and saying, I'm just going to put it on Steam and see, maybe I'll get like one sale off of it.
Yeah. And that's part of the problem, is that people who just making games for fun or whatever, you know, and then they finish it and they're like, oh, well, now I can get rich because everybody else said I could get rich by just putting it on Steam. So I'll spend $100 and put it on Steam, and then they make nothing and flood the store, kind of thing. And it's bad for them. It's bad for other developers. And it's good for Steam, you know, because Steam gets that $100 and doesn't have to do anything with it. So.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wish that first of all, the whole rumor of just put your game on Steam and it will succeed would go away. It's technically not a rumor. It's technically old news that is no longer true, is what it technically is, because back in the day, that used to be true. You used to just be able to put your game on Steam and you would succeed. But that was very long ago, and while it was true then, it is far, far, far from the truth now. Now it's like, if you put your game on Steam, expect to be ignored. Expect to, you know, you probably have more chance of being noticed with your game on your hard drive, with your hard drive next to an EMP blast that's about to go off, than you do on Steam alone.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually a really good segue into our first topic then, about how there's more to getting your game to succeed. And that kind of takes us to talking about how much YouTube has really impacted things. And there's several topics, and we'll kind of split the cast up into maybe like 2 or 3, I think, big ones for this week. But as we've said, and I think this is actually, I think, a pretty good topic to begin 2020 with. Maybe we should do how Twitch has impacted game dev for next week, or maybe like in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
But as everyone knows who's watching this right now, YouTube has certainly come a long way in the past 10 years. Whether, you know, we could track that as just a growing curve, or maybe like, you know, some kind of crazy up and down wave. But it has become a very major factor in terms of what it means to sell games these days. And a lot of that has come from both a marketing standpoint and, of course, everybody's favorite word, the YouTuber, or the rise of the YouTuber as a major way of selling and showing off games. Because nobody watches any YouTubers right now, right? I'm sure none of you know what that is.
What's a YouTuber?
Mm-hmm. What's a rogue? What's a rogue YouTuber? There we go. Perfect.
There we go. We got it. That's a new one for 2020. What's a rogue YouTuber?
Mm-hmm. And it has really become big business for everyone involved, or shall we say from the top and trickles down. And let's start. Let's see. What part should we start with when it comes to YouTube? What do you think?
What about YouTubers as a business kind of thing?
Okay.
Because that seems to be the most relevant to our linked over kind of thing.
Okay. So with that, as Shark said, and as we've certainly have seen, when it comes to kind of getting into the quote-unquote YouTuber business, the game side has, I think, been consistently one of the most popular ways, or shall we say the quote-unquote game criticism side has been very popular, as many people have certainly... Yes and no, I think, Ryu, because we were having this discussion before I even saw the Discord there.
Yeah, we had actually planned these topics like, 3 days ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just kind of ironic that we ended up talking about it in the Discord.
But the whole idea of YouTube or YouTube criticism on a game has become a very easy way for a lot of people to gain notoriety. All you have to do is basically say, take popular game and say it's bad, it's killing the game industry, or, you know, it is against the SJW crowd, whatever, and you can at least guarantee get like 5 to 10,000 views on that video. Mm-hmm. And we have seen a number of people who, I don't think I need to name names at this point. I think everybody watching this knows who we would be discussing, have kind of become popular because of these kinds of videos.
Yeah, I think you're going on the first one, the YouTuber drama one.
Mm-hmm. And while it may seem like a joke to people outside of YouTube, it has become a very big factor for game developers. As not only do you have to worry about marketing your game, you also have to worry about kind of this X factor of YouTube and YouTubers impacting the sale of your game, both positively and negatively.
Yeah. So, are we sticking to the YouTubers as a business, or are we swapping to YouTube as drama?
We'll do YouTube as a... Let's stay YouTube as a business for a few more minutes, and then we'll go to drama.
Okay. So, YouTubers as a business, it's quite hard because you have to get your game in front of these people if you want them to cover it. And I don't actually know how to do that. I mean, I've gotten my game in front of a few YouTubers and whatnot, and I've tried underneath hundreds and hundreds of others, nothing. Mm-hmm. From what I'm told is at least one thing you need to do is getting, when you send them that first email, send them also a key to the game kind of thing. Josh, what's your experience on this kind of thing with having developers contact you and whatnot to play their games?
Well, I think I may be more of a weirder exception to the rule, as because I do the indie spotlight, I will just take anything and say, okay, I'll add to that spotlight. So I don't have to worry too much about that. But for, I think, traditional YouTubers who are more, I guess, more conscious about, you know, what they're putting up each day, they're going to be, I think, a lot more discerning in terms of the games they'll get. And if your game doesn't immediately hook them, or if they can't figure out some way to spin it into a video, they're just going to pass on it. And we're not even mentioning the YouTubers who will charge you to do a first look, spotlights, whatever.
Yeah. I just personally, you know, I you know, and this could always change, but personally my view right now is I would never pay a YouTuber to receive a free copy of my game to cover it, kind of thing. Because, I mean, it doesn't make sense from my side of things, because I spend all the money to make it, and then I give you a free key to it, you know, give you basically 3 years of my work or whatever it took, and all the money that it took to do that. And then you have to be paid to do it. And then when the YouTuber does it, then they're going to be making money off of their video, their ads, and doing getting content for their thing. So it's like I'm like if I were to pay them, then I'm putting out myself. I'm putting myself out there 5 ways, and they're taking themselves in by 5 ways, and it's like, ugh.
So, Shark, you're not going to give me $50,000 to play a Project Triad when it's available?
No, damn. I'm not going to give you $50,000. Like, I think that if I were to ever pay a content creator to do a video, I would, number one, have to have more money than I have now, and number two, I would make a requirement that they cannot run ads on that video. They can't run ads. They can't get a sponsored, a sponsor ad or anything. It is just the game, because they are being paid for the game.
Yeah.
And if they're getting paid for the game, they shouldn't be putting ads in something they paid for, kind of thing. Something I paid for.
Yeah, like when I do my when I take the library presentations, like the best one I put up on YouTube, I make sure that's one that's going to a library. I don't put any ads on that, because technically they paid for that presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't forget the YouTubers who ask for multiple keys to do a giveaway or whatever for that game as well. So now they're getting paid, what is it, like 4 or 5 different ways. Now, to a board fan's point about pennies from ads, that is definitely true. Like, I can tell you, even with the ads on my videos, it is not, livable money off of ad revenue. And that's why I always say that doing YouTube, while you may be doing it for a living, it's not really a full-time job, because there is no real guaranteed money being a YouTuber. This is why people go for the sponsored content. I mean, I must have hit some kind of magical point in the algorithm getting to 5,000 subscribers, because I'm getting emails from developers about doing sponsored videos, but they're all in like broken English for products I've never heard of, and it just sounds so damn scammy. Exactly, Ogro.
Yeah. And they very well could be scams. I haven't had that kind of experience on YouTube, but I have had a very similar experience in game development, to where people will contact me in my developer email, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm X YouTuber. I make lots of content. Blah blah blah. Send me a
15 copies of your game."
Yeah, send me 15 copies of your game. And then when I look at it and do research into it, I find that they have a separate email. It's not the email that's listed anywhere. It's not. It's not even any. Or they don't even exist in the begin with, and they're just fake YouTubers or whatever. And like, there's so many different ways, and I have found that 100% of the ones I've received were all fake.
Don't forget the ones that they'll say they have a big-time YouTube or Twitch channel, and when you go on it, like the last video or stream they did was maybe 2 years ago. Like, it's just like a static channel that has no. It's just kind of there as kind of false proof that they are legitimate.
Yeah, the issue is I didn't even get anybody that legit. I didn't even get anybody that was legitimately the person. They just haven't done it in so many years. They were just all like just strictly scams. They wouldn't even like, oh, I'm a legit person. I just haven't done anything in forever. No, these were just all scams. Every last one of them. So like, I would actually, really love to at least advance up to the tier that you're talking about.
Yeah. And it is tough to be a YouTuber. Again, like, that's the point, or that's one thing that we should definitely hit on, that what we're talking about to get to that level, this is a good parallel to game development. The people who are established definitely don't need to work as hard as people trying to, break in. It's the same thing being an indie developer. Yeah. And it is very tough to get to that point. Like, I've seen, like, I just look at random YouTubers that big name, a lot of views, and I see like videos like, I went clothes shopping, 2.5 million views on that video from a gaming YouTube channel or something like that.
I hope they bought some bathwater.
I think you guys want to see that, right? Josh goes to buy a T-shirt. I'm sure I'll get like 100 million views on that one.
Probably.
And when you're trying to get like in a gaming YouTube or however we want to discuss it, it's very hard, I think, for a lot of people to understand what it means to do these kinds of discussions. Because there's, I think, two, and this could probably be a good segue in talking about YouTuber drama, that there's essentially, I think, two or maybe three kinds of categories of people who cover YouTube gaming. You have the people who are just doing like Let's Plays, very basic kind of stuff. You have the people who do the super long form. Like, maybe I would fit into that, but people like a No Clip, or I think there's a few other ones whose name I'm forgetting. And then you have the drama people. This game has murdered the industry, or I never believed so and so would rob me of my childhood, and those kinds of videos.
Yeah.
Am I forgetting any other categories?
Not as far as I know of.
Mm-hmm.
At least as of gaming, anyway.
Yeah.
Before we swap over to the drama, though, let's see here. What was I going to say now? Now I've lost it. Okay, let's go over to the YouTuber drama.
All right, maybe it will pop up again.
Probably not, but we'll see.
And
so YouTuber drama, I've personally encountered some of this, and a lot of you have seen that kind of thing, and from posts I've made. And YouTubers, there's many different levels of their drama, and it's there's levels of drama that make them look legit, but they're sitting there talking really bad about the game, kind of thing. And that's the one I ran into, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed legit, for the most part, and then they just made a video dishing the game before they even got to play the game, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were just in an opening cutscene and dishing the gameplay, and it's like, you haven't even experienced the gameplay. And then there's like other YouTubers that just latch on to whatever news story they can, or whatever newest drama that's up, and they just go to town on it. Some of them, get whatever games they can get and then do drama on it. Mm-hmm. There's even another kind that's not technically a drama channel, but is kind of a drama channel at the same time, and that's where they get games, usually off a Keymailer or whatever, and they get them just for the specific purpose to make fun of them, kind of thing. And I ran into one of those where this person wanted a key for me on, I think it was Keymailer or something, and contacted the person because I wasn't able to get, I hadn't been checking my Keymailer every day, and it was like 3 days ago, and I contacted the person, and he's like, it's too late now. I was going to do a live stream of it, and just make fun of it, kind of thing. I was like, in like, maybe like 30 minutes or whatever, and then go on to the next game. It's like, I think you might need to spend more time on the game than 30 minutes, kind of thing. It was like, and then he got really kind of mean and went off on me, kind of thing. And I was like, okay, have a good day. See you later.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You cannot ever tell them what kind of, douchebag they are. You can't ever say anything negative to them, because the second you do, you just gave them a rocket launcher to fire at you. Because it's not going to matter what kind of douchebaggery things they were doing to you. What's going to matter is, because you aren't doing a YouTube video on them and their douchebaggery, they're doing a YouTube video on you and your douchebaggery, because you're just responding to theirs. But they're not going to include that. They're just going to include your douchebaggery back to them and fire right at you, and you're going to have a snafu of sorts.
Oh, yes. And with so many douchebagger tier fans, yeah. And this has been, again, like the X factor of what it means to be a game developer and what YouTube can do for you. Because on one hand, as we've said before, there are people or there are developers who will assume, you know, if I get PewDiePie or Markiplier to cover my game, I'm done. You know, that's all I need. I'm going to succeed. But just in that case, you can have somebody cover your game as kind of a hit piece. There are, again, if I name any names, I'm sure it will get out there. But you, of course, you guys know who we're talking about, who will basically say anything bad about a game and kind of like target that game for their fan base, saying, you know, these developers did so and so, and how dare they, and all that. And that can just sink your game, because then that news spreads and then somebody else will cover it, and it doesn't matter if the original piece was a lie or not, because now you have, you know, 10, 15 YouTubers saying the exact same thing, so of course it must be true.
Yeah, they all get onto the gravy train. And the only way you're going to get PewDiePie to cover your game is, number one, if he is a close personal friend that you've hung out with at least 30 days of 2019, or if you happen to be watching this video a little bit late, 2020, you know, of the year roughly that you're in, kind of thing, of the current year, whatever you're listening to this. So if you're listening to this in, you know, the year 2300, you better have been hang out with him at least 20 days if you want him to in that year, if you have any chance of him covering your game. Otherwise, no. The other way is getting really lucky, you know, which you have probably a greater chance of winning the lottery and getting struck by lightning 3 times on a single day, kind of thing. So pretty much count that as out of the question too. And the other way is by getting a lot of smaller YouTubers to cover it, and then PewDiePie sees that your game is getting covered by a lot of other people, and says, "Hey, maybe I'll cover that one," and that is the most possible. That is the highest likelihood chance of ever getting them to cover it. Mm-hmm. That said, it's going to take a lot of work to get a lot of smaller YouTubers to cover it, kind of thing, and you're going to have to get lucky on, you know, a smaller extent many times to get that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have to get lucky again that PewDiePie sees those and says, "Oh, well, I'll do it too."
Yep. And the other way of this happening, of course, is that you have somebody you reach out to, they play your game, and as you said earlier, Shark, they do nothing. You know, they just completely and utterly, you know, snub it. They don't care about it. And then you have this video about your game, and it's just kind of like negative advertising for your title.
Mm-hmm. And don't let the old saying that there is no bad no bad news out there. There's no what's the saying?
Nothing bad, and I don't even know the phrase. That's how good I am at marketing.
It's something like there is no bad marketing or something.
That's how good we are at marketing.
That's what it is. There is no bad publicity, and while that may be true to a certain point, that certain point does not apply to game dev. Not really. Not unless you're huge, kind of thing. Maybe if you're huge and you're like a AAA, then yes, you know, it might, because like probably more people are playing Fallout 76 than they were before all the bad news came out. But you know, that doesn't really apply to indies, kind of thing, because nobody was playing your indie game to begin with. Nobody's going to go and buy it to play it because one drama video or 5 drama videos or whatever. They will probably go and join your Discord and leave a lot of really nice comments. They probably will go to your trailer and your YouTubers and, you know, channels and leave a lot of bad comments on there. They will probably, you know, find your Steam page, you know, message you privately on Steam, say all kinds of nasty things to you. They will probably message you if they can find you on your personal Discord. They will probably private message you and send all kinds of hate to you there. They'll send you hates in all kinds of ways, but I don't think they're going to buy the game because they're not going to really do it.
Yeah.
And yeah. They'll discover the game and just the way we discover, like if you guys have ever seen any channels on asset flips, you discover that those asset flips exist, and you say, "Oh, I ain't gonna touch that," kind of thing. And it ain't gonna get you to number one. Oh, he left a bad review on this game. Let's, it's an asset flip. Let's go play it and find out. Kind of thing. It's not going to be that. It's not even going to be. He left a bad review on the game, and let's just go check it out. Like there's nothing there that can get you a positive, but there is a lot of there that can get you negatives. And like somebody who was already looking at it will turn around and be like, "Oh, okay, I'm not buying this," and then just lose the wish list, lose whatever you were going to have. And I've seen that personally happen. With no sales and lost several wish lists kind of thing. Like there is no positive in it for an indie developer. Maybe if you're AAA or something, maybe there is, but I don't think any AAA are going to be here listening to us for advice.
And I think another point, as you said earlier, about the way refunds work, that you can have people, they can check out your game, that doesn't mean you're not getting any sales from it. They'll find your game, they'll play it for 30 minutes to an hour, they'll refund it. And then they'll just go back to saying negative things about it.
Yeah, if they're willing to give it the time of day. But most likely, they're not even going to be willing to give it the time of day. I mean, if they are willing to give it the time of day, then they're most likely going to buy the game just to play 0 minutes of it, leave a bad review, and then refund the game. That way that that review counts against you. And that review, mind you, does not go away. So if somebody does that, you're going to be stuck with that review, and they never even played your game. They just listen to YouTube drama, watch your game, leave a bad review to delete, to uninstall it and get rid of the thing. And that never happened to me, but that very easily could have happened. Especially with all the people who were attacking me after the drama went down with mine. I had like so many DMs coming in, so many ads, so many this, so many that, and whatnot. But nobody was willing. It did not get pushed far enough that anybody was willing to push a buy button to leave a bad review, kind of thing. But they left tons of nasty comments, and like when I did the stupid thing and pointed out the easily false things that can easily be seen by watching the video, you don't even need any other knowledge. Which was bad. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. I learned the hard way. And when I did that, I had several people comment like, the good old protective developer, just his game can never do any wrong, and he's blind to the truth. It's like, yep. Or you can't be so defensive about your game, and all this other stuff. And they don't even know the game. They haven't ever played it. They didn't even really pay attention to the video, because if they paid attention to the video, they could tell that he was recording it live and that he was criticizing the gameplay before he even got to the gameplay, just when he was in the opening cutscene. So and he was so obvious and everything on how it was being recorded and everything. And then it was also so obvious that at the end he comes back and you can hear the mic cut, and then he just lays into it, with all kinds of shit, kind of thing, because that was after we had, talked for a bit, and he got mad, kind of thing, and he just wanted to just really lay into it. So he just, edited out what he was going to say at the end, and then edited that in, his big rant at the end, and it was so obvious. But these people are his fans. They aren't my fans. They aren't anybody else's fans. They are fans of him. So what he says is going to be right, no matter how wrong he is in their eyes. Unless you have a few people that are aware of his bullcrap and will point it out. But that is unlikely unless they're just hate watching his channel, kind of thing. So I did, and the hate watching is just a whole another issue that I don't even kind of thing.
Like for my fans, they'll side with developers. They'll just point out how bad I am at the game, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and this has always been, again, that very weird thing about how much YouTube has impacted what it means to make a game. Because as we were saying earlier, in terms of the drama videos, if you remember that Ooblets developer, when they announced they were going to be an Epic Games exclusive, you had all these people who claimed, and this could probably be a segue into talking about, YouTuber knowledge on games. Maybe we'll do the weird game segment, then we'll go to that as our final part. But you had all these quote-unquote, experts in the game industry say, the Ooblets developers are the worst people I have ever seen, and how dare they, because they're on Epic Games. Not, completely ignoring stuff like the Slaughtering Grounds, EA's heavy surprise mechanics and stuff like that. But how dare they go to Epic Games exclusive? They are killing the game industry.
Well, I think the main thing that kind of set off the whole Ooblets disaster wasn't so much that they went to Epic. It's that they basically joked around about it and made kind of like smart-ass remarks kind of thing, and they hoped that making that kind of thing was going to be like basically they're joking around, they needed this money, so they're going to do that. The kind of leading people to joke around to lead them to the actual kind of cause, because they can't really say that kind of thing publicly. But not everybody knows how to take a joke right, especially when you phrase it the way they did, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that poorly phrased joke is the main thing that started controversy and just ramped up from there, kind of thing. But even if they didn't do that joke, they would have still probably got bad publicity over it. But at least when they responded back to it, they probably wouldn't have gotten such continuing backlash, and it might have actually developed into positive kind of feedback kind of thing. But after they did that joke at the beginning, anything they said after that was just more ammo to throw back at them.
Yep. And again, you have so many people who will latch on to that. Again, how many people covered, the whole Ooblets catastrophe, just to latch onto that bit of news cycle for their channel. And then, and I was just about to say, and this again goes back to the idea of the whole YouTube algorithm, which I'm sure is loving this stream right now, or this recorded video for those of you watching it like that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The reason why they latch on to those kind of is because of mostly because of the YouTube algorithm, which is I think one of the biggest downsides of YouTube as a whole is the algorithm. Like the algorithm tends to reward bad behavior and punish good behavior, kind of thing. It rewards clickbait and punishes not clickbait, and then all the people watching hate clickbait, and they say don't do clickbait. But the second you stop doing clickbait, and you're dead as a YouTuber, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it just rewards bad behavior and punishes good behavior, and you know that leads to, you know, once a drama gets started, you know, once one YouTuber makes a big drama, oftentimes a lot of other YouTubers, if it makes a big enough stink kind of thing, a lot of other YouTubers will grasp onto it. Luckily, my drama didn't make up a big stink kind of thing. So nobody else picked it up after that. But if it did get a lot of views and everything, and it did make that big stink, then everybody would have started picking up on it. Because we, you know, I want a part of that piece of that pie. Where, like, in game development, that doesn't really work. You know, somebody makes Minecraft, and everybody jumps on the Minecraft wagon wanting a piece of that pie, and nobody pretty much succeeds. Where on YouTube, somebody makes a Minecraft equivalent video, and then everybody jumps on, and everybody succeeds.
Yep. And we see this even with the games that get covered as well. And this goes back to your earlier point about how hard it can be to get a game to be noticed. That, like, when I played there you go. Thank you, Algardo. Like, when I played games like Dead Cells, Slay the Spire, I was one of the first people to cover it, and, like, nobody else was touching it. And then the second it got some level of notoriety, you started seeing everybody talking about it. IGN, Kotaku, the major YouTubers, and stuff like that. And everyone just latches on to these games until the next big thing. I think a really good example would be Untitled Goose Game. You know, how many people went from never hearing of that game, never wanting to play it, to then making a 30-minute to an hour-long joke video about it?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like now on YouTube, you either fell at YouTube and don't basically get hardly any videos up on there, or you go viral. It seems to be one or the other. Like, you either get one or two people to play your game and that's it kind of thing, or you get 50, 100 people to play it, and then 200 people pick it up after that point and play it, and then 1,000 people pick it up and play it after that, and then, you know, 2,000 people, 8,000, 20,000, 100,000, 2 million, 8 million, you know, and, you know, you're Stardew Valley at this point, you know, or something bigger kind of thing. Or, you know, because if the algorithm likes it, then YouTubers like it. If the algorithm doesn't like it, then YouTubers don't want to touch it.
And it's the same thing with the whole indie game thing. Like, again, like, games like Asura, Monolith, and probably a few others, Vision Software says, well, like, I think I'm one of the few people who actually covered it, and for everybody else who covered it, it's like 50 to 100 views on that game. So even if you are the very first or the only person playing them, you're still horrible in YouTube's eyes. But if you are the 100th or 1,000th person to do a video about, I don't know, about Untitled Goose Game, or about so-and-so being horrible, even if you're repeating everybody else is saying, you may still get 5 to 10,000 views just because of that.
Yep. What you say or cover doesn't need to be new. It doesn't need to be relevant. It doesn't. It can just be copy and paste, and you will make all the AdSense kind of thing. But if it's new and nobody's covering it's not in the YouTube algorithm, it ain't. You ain't going to get any coverage kind of thing.
Yep. And then this is how people can explode very quickly, despite not doing a whole lot in terms of their content. I think the scary part is that there are people who are more famous than me, who do even less work in terms of their editing and hookup than me. And I'm very light in the grand scheme of things as is.
And this goes back to what we talked about earlier about PewDiePie, and him covering your game. You know, just if PewDiePie covered it, and how we talked about how that PewDiePie ain't going to cover it unless, you know, several reasons that ain't going to work, and the one that does work about getting several smaller YouTubers to cover it so that PewDiePie notices it. And PewDiePie notices it when the algorithm notices it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when PewDiePie notices it. So if you don't get the algorithm to notice your game, PewDiePie isn't going to notice your game.
Oh, yeah.
But if you get the algorithm to notice your game, you don't need PewDiePie to notice a game, because you're going to have tons and tons of other people noticing your game.
Is this what we call a catch-22 or something else?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
And it just is one of those cases where, as a developer, as we said, like, once you start succeeding, just had my mic there, once you start succeeding, it's very unlikely for you to fail. But just to get that ball rolling, you're going to do 100 to 200 times more work than anybody else to get it started.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that time, you're going to be spent basically making no money whatsoever. Oh, I just read the first part. I thought, for instance, I gotta hire strippers to walk around here. That would help, right?
Yeah, that would get you some views.
There we go.
Some demonetization, or it might not even get you demonetized. It might just get you marked as kid friendly.
There we go. Exactly. And that's the thing about background strippers. There we go. We just invented something right there.
Yep. Now it's going to be a new thing on YouTube with background strippers everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's going to be grabbed up by the algorithm, and the algorithm will support it, but it won't support your first video because we're the ones that originated it.
Of course.
It wasn't popular back when we did it. It's only popular after.
Yeah. And going back to like what I do with YouTube and so like I said with the ad revenue, it is like it takes a very long time. I've been doing this technically, well, now going on 4 years, like professionally, and for a good 3 years of that time, or I'm sorry, for like 2 years of that time, I was making pennies a month doing YouTube. Not pennies a day, pennies a month. It's taken this long to just barely get, maybe, not counting super chat, maybe $60 to $80 of just ad revenue. And yeah, that's not paying bills anytime soon. And this is why people go for the whole sponsor stuff. But again, it's that case of when you look at it, it is so, what's the term I want to use? Not toxic. It's so brand killing to your image when you do those videos.
I think doing sponsored videos are fine as long as you do proper research. You get a sample of whatever product they're selling. You spend time with it, and if you approve with it, then you do the sponsored deal kind of thing. So you're not sponsoring something you don't approve of. You're sponsoring something you do approve on, and they're paying you for it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just, join Raid Shadows Legends.
Mm-hmm. Which I still haven't gotten anything about that. I haven't gotten a G2A sponsor at one point. I can't even get Raid Shadow Legends. What the hell?
Yeah, really.
Jeez, I'm not...
That's weird.
Man, when I even can't get, like, the easiest one, what does that say?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Raid Shadow Legends popped up advertisement right here.
There we go. They're coming.
You see, like the screen start turning staticky and everything, and then Raid Shadow Legends.
Mm-hmm. Or better yet, as we're saying this, like, again, when this is recorded, YouTube puts ads up automatically. There may be a Raid Shadow Legends ad going right now as a banner on the bottom of this YouTube video.
Yeah, and there, Oscar's got the El Gordo's got the new name for the podcast, the Raid Shadow Legends Weekly Show.
There we go.
It's done. We've got the name now.
Now you've seen some background strippers, and we're good. We're ready.
Exactly.
Oh god, the YouTube algorithm right now is just like spinning wildly out of control looking at this stream.
Exactly.
Let's see, they mentioned YouTube, but they also mentioned strippers. They did mention Raid Shadow Legends. So who does this video appeal to?
Exactly.
Who's the market for this? But I think with that, let's do our weird game segment, and then we will move on and talk a little bit about the other part of YouTube. And again, the knowledge YouTubers have about the game industry and the games they play.
That'll be an interesting one.
I'm sure that won't get me in trouble either.
Nope.
Let me get things here. And while we were talking, I did some multitasking. I sent YouTube an email about the issues with the CSS not working with their new studio. So we'll see if we get a response there.
Probably not.
Wait, Contra Rogue Core is on the PC? Wait, isn't that the horrible one? Oh, good. Maybe I can request a key for that.
You forgot to swap your layout.
Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Oh, good. Well, I'll put in a key request just to see how horrible it is. We'll see what happens there. But let's see what else is coming. If I can remember where the actual button is. William and the Lands of Rage. Wait a minute. Isn't this the same game we looked at last week?
I don't know.
I think they changed the name of it. Alright. Cursed Pagoda. Firefight. Is this a match 3 game? Let's see. Short indie casual action RPG budget title with a dark fantasy cyberpunk setting. Whew, that's a sentence right there.
Yeah, and there's one word I really didn't like it.
I'm going to say it's a cyberpunk?
Yes.
That looks very cyberpunk to me. Oh wait, there's neon. Neon automatically makes it cyberpunk, right?
Apparently.
Robots, flying cars, and demons.
Yeah.
Wait.
It remind me of the cyberpunk part that has demons in it.
Wait, this sentence makes no sense. High difficulty if players want to avoid dying. What? Wouldn't it be the opposite?
Yeah, I don't think English was their first, second, or third language.
Escape from the Death Castle. Okay.
From the Death Castle?
Yeah. You don't know why you're locked in this castle, but you know you should escape here.
Sounds like a great premises.
And it's an indie.
Oh, it's indie genre?
Not even a roguelike tag. Shake Your Body. We're not clicking on that one. Above Earth. Ooh, one button platforming.
Isn't that a endless runner?
No, it's an endless platformer.
There's a distinct difference there.
Here, God's Challenge. Okay, I was not expecting this. What the hell is this? This is a VR fighting game.
Oh, you have an offer there from Morpheus.
Oh,
that's like a sixth of your ad revenue kind of thing.
Yeah, very much.
You can get it back just one simple click.
Where's a dragon? I'm sure he wants me to click on that too. Moe World War II 3 Deluxe Edition. What?
It's World War II 3. World War 20. Is this World War 23 or is this World War II and 3?
So they make it World War V?
Yeah, or it could be World War V too. Or maybe it's World War III -2, and so it's actually just World War One. And it's a deluxe edition too, not to be confused with the pleb edition.
Yeah. And or maybe it's World War II, but it's part 3 of 2. You have to beat the first 2 parts to get to the full World War.
Yeah, could be.
What is... I think we looked at this one. Wait. Oh, it's a hidden object game. Aw. We need a good game based off Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
And we've summoned Draken.
There we go. Orange Blood. I was not expecting that by that name.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any orange there.
Wait, was that orange or was that yellow? It's a little orange.
There's an orange jip at the bottom.
Yeah. There we go.
There's that orange picture.
The pixel art isn't that bad.
Yeah, pixel art looks pretty good.
But is this in...
Is this an indie game? Is that what you're about to say?
Or is this even in English? Oh wait, I say English right there. Use simple controls. There's a dog too. Is it an indie tag? Yes it is.
I might should request a key just to check that one out.
Alright. Maybe we'll get it for the indie spotlight.
Yeah.
I mean, that detail on that screen right there is actually really impressive.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm still disappointed that there's not more orange.
Mm-hmm.
Is it orange blood and then it's been censored? Like all the blood has been censored out, so there's like no orange anywhere? Oh, it's a Tiller game.
Wait, so is this wait, the second title? Okay. Well, Koei Tecmo hates me, along with Adult Swim, so I don't think I'm going to get it, but I'll put in the key request anyway. Wait, if this is the second game in the series, and what's the one that I played? Huh. Well, we shall see on that one. Pet sniper shooting? What the hell? Top shooting games for kids. Ooh, it's an action-adventure indie RPG simulation and strategy.
And did you see Daffy Duck in there?
Let's see.
On the first one?
Looks like Daffy Duck crossed with Donald Duck.
Yeah.
That's not going to be...
Actually, it looks more Donald than anybody. Donald with Daffy's color.
Angry Duck. This is a game for kids, right?
Yeah. So is Raid Shadow Legends. Back to our sponsor.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what the? There's another Atelier game? Oh.
Maybe these are old ones getting remastered back to Steam or something. Like the same way Niche brought like Disgaea 1 and 2 to Steam kind of thing.
Yeah. So should I put in a key request for this one?
Sure.
My log, I'll get one of the 3. I'll get the third game of the trilogy.
Well, I mean, these artillery games really doesn't matter the order you play them in.
Alright, well, I have 3.
Games.
I'll be 3 for 3 and not getting them. Let's see. Dome Infernal. Oh, God. Who the hell is nice Jack graphics. Everett? Oh, graphics made in MS Paint. Oh, my.
Might see some ads for Jack Everett now that we've been talking about you.
Yeah.
Whatever YouTuber that is. Or maybe he'll see this video and then he'll make a rebuttal video or something. Whoever this person is. Now that we've crossed the streams.
We need to play that game for Josh and do some marketing with that.
Yes, you definitely need to play that game.
Okay, we're definitely not clicking on this one. That one's showing a whole lot of red flags.
Yeah. And Draken wants you to click on it. He'll donate $1,000 to get you to click on it.
Oh, there's that game that I got the press key for. We'll take another look at that for the Indie Spotlight, I think. The Spell Sword Cards one. Dress Out Additional Girls.
Was that when you played yesterday?
Or the day before, I think. Get the Banana.
That couldn't be questionable at all.
Nope, it's a puzzle game. This is all coming out the next 3 days, too. That's the best part. Oh, good. We have the new Dragon Ball game and a new Doctor Who game. Okay. Those are some very basic looking graphics, though.
What was that one game about the Alliance? Something or another.
Let's see. This is from the Bravely Default people, is it?
Yeah, sort of, kind of looks like it.
Being published by Nice.
Oh, you know what that means, right?
It's going to be 100 hours long?
No, the fact that you need to push a button and requesting a key.
Well, we'll see. Oh, good. I'm requesting RPGs. You know, games that only take 50 hours a piece to finish.
You'll be fine.
This is the new Dragon Ball game. What? I don't know. Like, do you have any interest in playing this one?
Like, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, but like, this game really doesn't grab me, kind of thing.
I love the 3 editions.
Yeah, the 3 editions make me want to, grab it even more, kind of thing, or less.
I love how they can give you. They're basically giving you like a pay-to-win element for spending more money on it.
Yeah, that's a big no for me.
So I'm not sure. Like, how does the combat actually work in this one?
They haven't really showed much, but it's probably just your, just one-on-one fights, like pretty much most of the Dragon Ball Z games recently, where it's just a fighter, but it'd be just a fighter against AI kind of thing. But I could be wrong. It's just a guess.
Oh, good. Another Romance of the Three Kingdoms games. Although, I shouldn't make fun of them. They are incredibly popular and very deep in terms of their designs. I tried playing one like 5 or 6 years ago, and I had no idea what I was doing in it.
It could be worse. Could be worse, reckon.
Oh, good. The English UI is coming at the end of February. Koei Tecmo already hates me, so I mean, I can't make them hate me more, right? Just request all their games. Maybe somebody will accidentally click approve. I would be interested in that, but I think that'll have to be like a donation incentive, or if it goes on a very deep discount. Because I don't really play the Total War series. Tower of Shades. Short game, which you start at the end. Well, that kind of makes a very quick RPG, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just you start the game and you beat it. You get the ending cutscene right there.
Ooh, failure as a mechanic. I love that expression.
You can fail the ending cutscene?
Apparently.
Is it one of those
Ooh, it's a self-help style game. I can improve myself by playing it. Okay.
We must have a quick time event in the ending cutscene kind of thing.
You know what? I'm going to request it for the spotlight. Maybe we'll get that. Although there have been some indie games I'm surprised I did not get press keys for. Like, I'm sure it was like maybe like 1 of 5 people may have actually put in the key request for it. Adventure Boy Jailbreak. Busty Hentai Mosaic. No, we're not clicking on that one.
Are you sure? Could a $1,000 donation talk you into it?
Sure. How much to pay to get background strippers?
You heard him, Draken. $1,000 donation. Can you get it quick?
Circle. Wolf RPG. Oh, 20-minute game. What?
Yep.
In this game, they are some part of playing?
I believe we were talking about this game earlier in our conversation. About games shorter than 2 hours.
Yeah. Alright, one more page and then we'll move on to our final topic. Spooky Spins Remastered. Gnome is Gone. Kaling Kingdom. What? These are some very impressive graphics.
Oh, yeah. Like you gotta really love the way that green brings out the blue on the other screenshots, you know.
I know you really loved that Settlements game when I showed it.
Dragons. Oh yeah. I remember now.
I have a feeling this was going to be a tile matching game just by the title of it. My Friend is a Raven. Not bad graphic style. Looks like very hand-drawn. But what is this game?
I don't like what I see down play now for free.
Mm-hmm. Complete different puzzles.
That leads into 1 or 2 pretty obvious models. A free-to-play model that is not healthy, or a what was that one game that used the Mickey Mouse inspired characters? You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Which one?
The one that uses Mickey Mouse inspired characters.
You mean that pet game that we just...
Huh?
That pet game we just showed?
No. No, I'm talking about like a game that released a while ago. No. It was it had an episodic release, and it was like a horror game based on Mickey Mouse, and you had Boris, the guy that looked like Goofy kind of thing, and you had that one. You know, it had a very old style, and you were, animator, Bendy and the Ink Machine. That's it.
Okay, that one.
Yeah, it kind of screams that kind of model as well.
Human Delusion. Okay. Your world is outside in to inside out, so it's safely extreme. And the producer has a strong psychic awareness. Does he?
Is it bad that there's so many games out there that exist that we can't even, we can describe Bendy and the Ink Machine, and we, like here in chat, it takes a while to even guess it.
What? Okay then.
I just got a genius idea, right? What's that game when you act out something and people try to guess it?
Charades?
Yeah. We need a game charade edition.
There we go.
And just make a game out of that. It'll be super popular. And maybe it'll, you'll put a bunch of niche games in there and nobody will be able to pass it.
There we go. I didn't bring up Asura. Nobody will play that one, right?
Yeah, nobody will. You put other Sharks game in there. Vision Self Reset. Mm-hmm. Nobody will get that one,
except for the people watching.
Yeah, put Chromasia in there. Nobody will get that one either.
Alright, but I think with that, well, we'll spend about 15-20 minutes on our final topic, and then we'll begin to wrap things up. So getting back to, again, YouTubers covering games, we can talk about kind of the lack of, or trying to, figure out their overall knowledge when it comes to these games. And like this goes back, I think, a good segue from the drama point, where you'll have people saying, I've been playing games all my life, and I've never been, so shocked at this game, and it doesn't seem like they really do play these games.
Yeah. And you'll have, I know I had a personal experience with this kind of thing, where, I was contacting streamers and such, for Project Triad early on, and this person contacted me back, one of the few that actually did contact me back, and she said that, number one, she wanted money. She didn't specify amount, but she said she wanted money. Mm-hmm. or actually no, she did specify amount, my bad, which was way too much. And what she was going to do with that money is she was going to play the game for, like, I think it was an hour or whatever, and stream it at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then, or no, she wouldn't go stream it. She was just going to play it for an hour. No publicity, just play it for an hour. Mm-hmm. And then she would write me a 2-page document on what she thinks I should change on the game. And it was, I can't remember the dollar amount, but it was something stupid, like $1,000 or something like that. It's like, and then you look at her channel, and she, she's your kind of stereotypical streamer that doesn't really have any kind of like knowledge into game development or anything, mm-hmm. like or really much into games, because she pretty much only plays like 1 to 5 games kind of thing, and she has a lot of knowledge on those 1 to 5 games, but anything outside of that, no knowledge, mm-hmm. kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, I have been feeling every word on that 202-page review thing would be, you should be more like this game, you should be more like this game, you should be more like this game, kind of thing, like just over and over and over again. And I was like, yeah, not replying back to that email. Because, just a lot of these YouTubers just have very, very little knowledge on these games. Like, it seems like a lot of YouTubers have less knowledge on games than the people who are watching their channels.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is weird.
Yeah, the thing that drives me up a wall is when you have them using a pre-recorded footage that is like nothing related to what they're talking about, and or it's like just like very generic gameplay.
Yeah, and to what Foreign and Drakens were saying there, that's probably pretty close to describing this one individual kind of thing. And what Eduardo said, yeah, like that does sound stupid from a marketing perspective. Like, you contact a person, ask them if they want to play your game in private, just experience it, see what it's like, and they say it'll cost you, $1,000, and then I'll give your game a try. It's like, you're not giving exposure or anything. You're just playing the game, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of insanity is that?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I've got some ice cream, here in a new flavor. Would you like to try it? Well, if you give me $1,000, you know, I do really love ice cream, but I love $1,000 better. You give me $1,000, and I'll taste a little bit of it, but I won't tell anybody anything about it. But I'll write you a 2-page report on the flavor of that ice cream. I mean,
there we go. That's perfect, Draken. Yeah. And like we see again a lot of people who play these games. And I think going back to what you were saying earlier, like there are people who will only play like 1 or 2 games, and they're considered experts in that, but that doesn't really help you with understanding how games work. Like again, like I don't care how many hours Dr. Disrespect or Ninja have in Fortnite or the other games. I'm not listening to them if they decide to talk about Metroidvania design or what are their thoughts on balance in a game.
I wouldn't even really listen to them on other battle royales because they don't know like the mechanics and everything. Like they just know what they need to do to win, kind of thing. They don't know why that game is good for them, kind of thing, or why they enjoy the game. They just know that they enjoy it, and they know they have to do these things to succeed in it. But knowing how to win a game isn't knowing the design of a game. I mean, you can have like 500,000 hours in FTL and not know anything about the mechanics or how the game works. You just know that the game will give you this stuff, and you know that you need to pick certain things or else you're going to lose. But that's not actually knowledge of the design, kind of thing. So just playing a game doesn't give you the ability to break down the mechanics of a game.
It's different skill sets. And to a Foreign's point, that is exactly true. That, again, goes back to the idea of the YouTube algorithm. That it's more important to be a personality than is actually have knowledge when it comes to this stuff.
Yep.
Like there's somebody who I was trying to look up like what exactly makes them big. I think they won like Best Gamer Award, like won like the Teen Choice or Nickelodeon Awards, and their entire channel is just them reacting to like random stuff. Like I thought like this was a gaming YouTuber.
Yeah. It's a little bit crazy, you know, the way they categorize things and everything. Because I mean, maybe they do react to a bunch of things, but it's gaming stuff, so they must be a gaming channel then. Kind of thing, like these stretches of the imagination, kind of thing. It's like
But then you have, of course, like a lot of the React channels or the drama channels. So they'll say, you know, developers are lazy or they're stupid because they made a game like this, without really understanding what it means to design the game in general. Or they can't really offer, you know, a valid counterpoint of what they would do, what would be a better example of it.
Yeah, there's also, you know, there's a difference between gaming news channel and a gaming drama channel, kind of thing. And the sad thing is I know somebody, I don't know him, but I watch somebody who does cover gaming news, and he pretty much only sticks to bad news, kind of thing, because one, there's not very much good news, and number two is whenever he covers good news or, you know, games that he likes or whatever, YouTube hates his video and he gets, you know, he doesn't get any views, kind of thing. Not to mention that he doesn't monetize any of his videos. If anybody knows who that is, you know, his last name may be Sterling, kind of thing. Might be first name Jim. But, you know, he doesn't monetize any of his videos, but like when he does anything good, you know, that he likes, YouTube just, the algorithm just completely dumps on him and doesn't get any views, which is a shame, which has pushed him into pleasing the algorithm gods and just covering bad stuff, which is not good. But he does it pretty fairly and funnily too, which goes back to the whole personality thing about personality definitely does matter on YouTube thing.
Mm-hmm. And like we've said with that algorithm, that if you're talking about a game and you're doing it differently than the other people, YouTube is going to put that down because they want everything to be kind of, that kind of like growing mass of discussions. So if big name YouTuber says this game is bad, then you have to say it's bad as well, so that when people look at that first video, yours will be recommended as something similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate the algorithm. Like I see nothing good the algorithm adds, and tons of bad things that it adds. The only thing the algorithm really did was, like, in early days when there wasn't enough content on YouTube, it said, and there was, most of the content on here was, videos that you wouldn't want to watch. It says, hey, there's this one video that you might want to watch. Hey, you should go watch it, kind of thing. But, I mean, that's null and void now that the platform is full of videos to watch. Full of good videos. Well, quote-unquote good videos to watch, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also there to, like, it just does so many bad things. And the only good thing it did is, like, null and void now. Might have been good back in the day, but pretty much null and void now.
Yeah. And I think getting back to kind of the idea of skill or knowledge, again, as we've said, there's a difference between understanding the game or just understanding how to play a game versus understanding the design of the game. And I think this is a very interesting point. Like, as we've said, there are people who have dedicated channels to a singular game or to a singular genre. And they understand how to play that game inside and out. But chances are they don't really understand what is happening behind the scenes to make that game work.
Yeah, a good analogy to this would be, the fact is, it's pretty much everybody knows how to drive a car. How many people know how to repair a car or or build a car in the first place? How many people know the theory of how the car works? I mean, not very many. Like you can know how to drive a car very well, but you do not understand the theory behind the car actually doing the things that it does. You don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to repair it. You don't know how to build one. You don't know any of these things. But and to have a real knowledge of game development, you would need to know kind of how things work, kind of thing. And that's a very specific kind of mindset, which I think anybody can have if they try to develop it, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Again, we've said this before. It took me years of talking to developers to build up my critical sense for it.
Yeah. Mine started at an early age because, like, back when I was like, I don't know, probably about 8 years old, I was like, I had an idea for a Voltron game. I was like, well, what if we did Voltron and, like, you didn't just instantly combine into Voltron and you spent time as the lions and you were just kind of platforming around like Mario or Adventure Island kind of thing. And you kind of shot like like a side-scrolling shooter like Gladius or whatever. And like me pointing out all those things, then it started allowing me, oh, this is an element of this is an element of this. Breaking down all these elements. And then like as I played games going forward, I kept on breaking apart the elements and dissecting it and everything until I got this understanding of all the different mechanics and how they worked with each other, which eventually, in my early adulthood allowed me to play these free-to-play games that were pay-to-win, and I would dissect the mechanics and find out the min-max way to just own really hard at that game, and as a free player in like the top 10, where the top 100 were all like, you know, $300+ players kind of thing. And I'm sitting here in the top 10 and owning most of them in combat where they're not even a challenge, because I knew how to break down those mechanics and you know, find out exactly how to build a character that would, you know, just really own. And like if I had invested $10 $10 to $50 into that game, I could have been number one. And I did that on like, I don't know, like 8, 10, 15 different free-to-play games kind of thing. Like it wasn't just one instance. I did that on many of them, and that was because of my ability to dissect the mechanics and find out what exactly is the thing. But you know, that's developer knowledge, or you know, not that it's limited to developers. I mean, you know, Josh is not a developer, but he's talked to many of them. He's definitely developed the skill and everything, and you know, kind of realized. And yeah, I'm sure he's still developing the skill. I'm still developing the skill, because like I watch some of the things he plays, and I'm like, I can't figure out how that works just from watching it. But it's a lot harder to figure out from watching than it is from actually playing. But Josh can tell it when I'm breaking down stuff sometimes in chat. It's like, that was a pretty unfair death there, kind of thing.
And getting to what Laura said about YouTube's full opinionated people, this I think is one of the issues when it comes to talking about design and kind of the structure of these games. Because we'll have a discussion about, for instance, why Sekiro has plenty of issues with its design. And the issue is that because the common criticism is people saying it's too hard, or the game sucks, or things like that, it all gets lumped together like that. And we see this with a lot of these big name games, or with any game that gets a lot of notoriety, that anything that is trying to be above that gets lumped into it.
Yeah, because the YouTube algorithm again strikes again and just categorizes stuff in column A or column B, and you know, it'll parse it out based on that. And you know, the algorithm has no nuance, no nothing, and it's just all about recommending stuff that's popular, and just, you know, throws it in a popular category, and it either recommends based on that.
And yeah, exactly. To Algoto's point there, and this has always been another really big issue, that for a lot of the people who consider themselves experts on the video game industry, they don't really have any actual knowledge about what it means to play these games. Again, you can rant about a game for 5 to 10 hours and do that on a weekly basis. That doesn't mean you actually understand what it means to what actually is going on in these games. Like, I remember watching, for instance, like a big name YouTuber, again, I'm not going to try and name names to avoid at least some controversy. They did an interview with I think it was a journalist. And the journalist talking about how he has to, you know, cover his sources, he needs to talk to developers about it. And he was like, well, why don't you just give me their names and I'll get in touch with them? And I was just sitting there going, you want them to do your work for you, essentially.
Yeah. And I mean, I mean, there's definitely developers out there that try to pass their opinions as facts too out there. I think that there's a lot of people that do that, not just YouTubers, but a lot more trouble seems to be sprung up by YouTubers, because YouTubers have the platform that they, you know, that they can, you know, go out there and broadcast it to massive amounts of people, where game developers don't, unless you already know about their games, kind of thing, and you're following their Twitter or whatever kind of thing, which really, you know, is really mainly an issue just if you're in AAA, which most AAAs are pretty quiet on that kind of thing, except for Randy Pitchford kind of thing. But still, Randy Pitchford does not have the amount of reach as PewDiePie does. Although when PewDiePie covers Randy Pitchford, then, you know, he does. But that's not his reach. That's just he reaching to PewDiePie, and then PewDiePie reaching to everybody, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And when you're trying to like explain these topics to people, again, like you never know exactly what their knowledge level is. I just wonder, like, when I ask developers to come on and they do the interview, like, if they're surprised at like some of the topics that we have for these streams.
Yeah, like I've noticed a lot of them come on and they're like, oh God, I'm scared of what's going to happen. They think you're the normal YouTuber that just was going to talk about their favorite main enemy in the game, or this one moment when I jumped over here and lived, kind of thing, or any stupid like insignificant thing there, instead of actually talking about design, like real design of the game and everything. And then they're shocked about it and they're like, holy crap, this is not what I was expecting it to be. And then the next one they go talk to was like that, and they're like, ugh, kind of thing.
Yep.
But they want to come back because they're like, yeah, this was a good experience, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But I've gotten like a few people who've turned me down, and then they go on somebody else's show where it's just, peacocking, or whatever the expression, where they just want to talk about how great they are, too.
Mm-hmm.
On this show, we just, batter and break your game live on stream. So why is this design like this?
Yeah, or like, I don't like this design of it. I mean, you'll probably never get the developers behind Sekiro on here.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. Hey, I play all your games and I think Sekiro's horrible. What do you say about that?
Would you come on for a cast so we can talk about how horrible Sekiro is?
I still want to get Jake Solomon from XCOM on, because that'll be like a 5-hour cast with all the questions I have about that game.
Oh yeah.
But we are starting to get a little bit long here, so I think we'll begin to wrap things up. I guess, do you have any final topics or any things you want to discuss for this one?
Well, for game developers, I would say definitely be careful, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You never say anything bad to the YouTuber in any way on the comment section or anything. Never point out their falsities, because the second you do is the second a lot of people are going to come after you, kind of thing. And that it's sad that it's that way, but it is that way. So don't say anything negative or remotely negative to the YouTuber, whether it's public or private, kind of thing, because it will come back to bite you real quick too. But that said, is you need to deal with these people, and because if you don't get YouTube videos made for your game, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to succeed, because that's going to be one huge leg of your marketing campaign just chopped right off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very powerful leg, so you definitely want that on there. You definitely want to go on Twitter too. And I don't like Twitter, but you need to be on Twitter. I need to be on Twitter. I'm planning on being on Twitter soon. And let's see here, what else? Be careful about any YouTubers you work with, and be careful about any offers or emails that come into you as a game developer, because you will likely get tons and tons of fake people claiming to be a YouTuber, and they're not. There's somebody that wants a bunch of keys so they can sell on G2A, most likely. Mm-hmm. So when somebody contacts you and asks you for, especially if they ask for more than one copy of the game, be extremely wary that this is a plan to sell a whole bunch of games on G2A, because more than likely, unless you are a big known, developer, like the developer of Stardew Valley, which I don't think he should be listening to our advice at that point, kind of thing. Like if you're a big name like that, then yeah, I mean probably you're getting legit offers. But more than likely, if you're not well known as a developer, all the emails that you get are pretty much likely to be spam, or not spam, scams. The only emails that I have received on my account that have not been scams has been one from Keymailer, which you could argue that that's a scam itself, but that's a different story entirely. One from another platform similar to Keymailer, and one from Humble Bundle, one made to buy the newest bundle. Everything else has been scams. So, very, very high scam rate unless you are well known. And even if you are well known, which I have no experience on, you may still have hordes and hordes of scams at that point too.
Yep.
It may be almost all scams at that point too, but it is pretty much all scams at my level, kind of thing.
And you have to do your research. And it doesn't really take long either. If somebody contacts you, search their YouTube channel or their Twitch, see if the emails match. If you're still not sure, use that the email they have for their business account to reply back to confirm. And and of course, if this is a very simple one, if the name of the person who's emailing you has no relation to the email address, that's a pretty good sign there's a problem. Like if it says this is for Markiplier, but the email is Russian 3724, then chances are that's not going to be from him.
Exactly.
All right. But I think with that, let's wrap it up for this week. I'm still not sure what classic game we'll play for tonight. There's still plenty of 3DO stuff to look at, or one of my other consoles. But as always, you can follow me on Twitter at GWBlaster. You can find a link to our Patreon Patreon and Discord down below. And for you, Shark, where can people find you?
Well, in the recorded version, you should be able to find my Discord link below. You can find me on Twitter at NexusGamesINC1, and hashtag soon, yet again, I'll be posting some stuff on there. Supposedly, sometime this week, we're going to get that background done, and then I can start posting. But we'll have to see if it gets done this week. But and if it does, then I can start posting this week. But, that might be Saturday kind of thing. It might be tomorrow. It might be, it could be any day next week. And who knows if it'll even be done this week. But hopefully my first Twitter post will be sometime this quote-unquote week. But for now, it's just hashtag soon.
You should make a YouTube video to announce the upcoming Twitter posts.
Yes, we should.
And as always, you have any suggestions for the title of the stream and all that, let us know in the comments below. But we'll be back next Sunday around 3:34 p.m. EST. I'll be back later tonight for whatever game I'm going to be streaming. And check back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where he's in the art and science of games. Gotta end the stream before Draken finishes the text there.
Yep, and don't forget about the t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Hold you on until Draken can fit.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know about the t-shirts in the comments below.
There we go. There goes that YouTube algorithm. Alright, everybody. Yep. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you later tonight. Until then, take care.